This roof's getting installed with our premium roofing system. Backed by our 50-year warranty. And there's a 0% financing, no payment for 6 months options that this customer utilized. If you're looking for a new roof and you need an affordable option, call Absolute Restoration.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
A soggy evening continues across the Magnolia State. Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynard. We'll break all of those rain chances down coming up here shortly, including could we see a few sleet pellets? Not exactly high on those chances, but some areas, maybe not here in North Mississippi, we'll see a little bit of that mix. Primarily going to be up north, breaking that down here in just a moment. So headlines tonight in the Room to Room Weather Center. Rain today, dry tomorrow. And that's going to be the name of the game. So those parades that got canceled tonight, or postponed, should I say, be glad you did, because this soggy forecast does not need anyone in it. But to come tomorrow, those parades that are happening, even some that were rescheduled from tonight, looking good to go. All right, as we get into the next one, cold, but it is going to be colder for others. That means it's going to be cold across North Mississippi tonight. But if you're out towards the west, we're talking even colder, dare I say, frigid forecast for the start of our Friday. And are you ready for some football? I know Wildcat fans already are watching the game behind the scenes. A good battle going on right now. We'll have an update on that score total, but where it sits right now, 14-8. Calhoun City on top, end of the third, just scored a big touchdown run. So excited to see how that continues in the fourth quarter, but rain definitely the big factor in their forecast and impacting it big time. I think there's 3 takeaways for both teams. So it's a lot going on there. But taking a look at the first 12, you can see those rain chances continuing in the forecast. Widespread chances by 7, becoming a little bit more scattered to isolated into that 10 o'clock and 1 a.m. hour. Towards early tomorrow morning, those chances dissipate away, and we're left with a cool start to the day. Dare I say cold start to the day for sure. It's going to be a cold one for sure in the mid 30s, and that's a time where we need to bundle up. But tonight we need to bundle up, as well as add that rain gear as an extra layer. 45 degrees in Caledonia. You can see on our radar imagery right here some of those heavier downpours around Solent and Aberdeen, but I say heavier relatively. It's not the light rainfall we're getting on the lens of the camera right now. It's just going to be a little bit higher on those rain rates. And again, we'll look at that here in just a moment. But yeah, just a soggy evening. It's pretty much stratus clouds blanketing the sky and a light to moderate rainfall, pretty consistent across the board. Greenville, 37 degrees, as you can see right there. Drier conditions have moved in place, but clouds still blanketing the sky. The moisture is still there, but look at that number. 15 degrees, 15 miles an hour out of the north, and that's what's cycling in some of that drier air, pushing more into our Friday. So already getting those effects in Greenville, and we'll continue to build across the eastern portion of our viewing area, including Fulton, as we head overnight. Right now, though, Fulton 39 degrees and a soggy forecast for sure. You can see that rain back behind those cars as they drive over those roadways, but see a decent downpour happening as we speak. So if you're heading on I-22 towards Itawamba County, or if you are on Highway 25 dealing with that rainfall as well. But that's really the name of the game for a large portion of North Mississippi. And this is much needed rainfall because the latest drought monitor comes out today. And where we currently sit is at level 3 drought for Grenada, Yalobusha, and Lafayette County, even for parts of Calhoun County. So Calhoun City, maybe bring some of that rainfall back to Calhoun County and share some of the love you're getting down there in Starkville. But that level 1 drought being taken away from Prentiss, Alcorn, and Tishomingo County, at least some bits and pieces of those areas. And that'll continue to recede as we get more and more of that rainfall. Some of those totals, I do see a few areas that are showing some heavier portions. If it'll populate in, is it going to allow me? There we go. All right, about a half of an inch down there towards Holmes County. We get up here towards Lafayette County. I see a dot there that's close to about a quarter to a half of an inch. You see the stripe that moves right across Chickasaw County. If we highlight in a few of those totals, we're right around 42 hundredths of an inch. Down south there in Starkville, don't get me wrong, it looks awful to be down there in Starkville right now in this cold, rainy forecast. But all of that rain impacting the game so much is only amounting to about 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch. So that is not an impactful forecast. Nonetheless, the further north you go, getting a higher amount. But really, it's the further south you go where we get the more impactful rainfall. Take a look at some of those totals, and we'll just populate in a few of these. Down there, Macomb, Jackson, Forest, McGee, Laurel. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing totals well above what we're sitting at here in North Mississippi. So that's what we were telling you guys yesterday, is it will be a rainy day, but not an impactful rainy day, because all of this rainfall, not exactly high on those storm tops, not producing those large drops or a heavy output. This is just going to be a soggy evening, but a not too impactful evening nonetheless. So as we take a look at that progression of those showers, work their way through the region 3 hours ago, covering the entirety of the area. But now as we work more into that 5 and 6 o'clock hour, those chances primarily going to be along 45 and working their way into northwest Alabama. You did see a few of those pinks move in there towards Tunica and DeSoto County. No reports of any wintry mix, so that is what's happening aloft. And this is one of the things we'll break down here at the 6 o'clock hour is why does winter precip not happen on the ground? And we'll talk about more with those temperatures as they work their way through the atmosphere and how that kind of depicts what precipitation we're going to get. So some pinks may be there, but that's high aloft in the atmosphere. What's actually making its way to the surface is a cold rain. And that's the case for all of North Mississippi. So some travel impacts when it comes to wintry precip going to be for folks up north, but here in North Mississippi, we are continuing to remain on the drier side. Let's go ahead and expand things out. And as you can see, we're tracking that moisture all the way back there towards Nashville, some of those pinks and blues popping up, but that's where we expect that wintry mix to remain in place, really expanding towards Bowling Green and Lexington, Kentucky. So yeah, Wildcats up in Kentucky, they're going to be dealing with snowfall. Wildcats down there in Starkville dealing with some rainfall. So Wildcats, just a saturated forecast no matter where you're at. But hopefully we bring home a dub there in Starkville for the Calhoun City Wildcats. We keep that futurecast moving and shows all of that rainfall working its way through the region. Now, I want you to pay attention to something. Did you see earlier, and I'll bump it back one scan, watch where the showers are positioned at right now, and watch as we jump into futurecast. And this is where it's supposed to be on those current modes. Yeah, well out here towards Arkansas and West Mississippi. So this rainfall already progressing a little bit quicker, and that means this round of moisture, the second round of moisture that's moving in behind this main batch of showers, pretty much here right now, and that's going to be clearing out by about 9, 10 o'clock. The potential for a few sprinkles with that system, but I think it's overestimating some of those totals. And so yes, that'll be working its way through, but I think the strongest of those showers have already made its way through once they fully clear this main batch of showers. So that's clearing out of our area right now. More chances back behind it, but again, those going to be little to no impact when it comes to those totals. Continue to work its way through the region by 2 and 3 on your Friday morning. And as we get towards the start of our Friday, you can see how dry things are, but how gloomy things are once again. So it is not going to be a picturesque sight, but at least it's dry. And that's what matters with our forecast, especially for those parades that may have gotten rescheduled for tonight and for those parades that are happening for Friday evening. So looking at the next 24, not an impossibility that we get a drop of rain here and there, but it's going to be very limited and very isolated. It's not impacting a large majority of us. 36 degrees 6 a.m., 38 by 9, 45 by noon, and we're climbing into the upper 40s by the afternoon, still with mostly cloudy skies, not exactly getting much of a break from that, maybe a peak of sunshine here and there, but it's just going to be a gloomy sight, but it is going to be dry, and that's what matters. So coming up here in the next 60, we'll have a full breakdown on these rainy conditions around the area, how that's impacting some of our football games right now, how that could impact some games in the future. We'll have a full breakdown of that forecast coming up live from the Room to Room Weather Center for Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Enjoy your home for the holidays with store-wide savings at Room to Room. 50% off, 48-month special financing, and as our gift to you, a free accessory buyer's card. There's something here for everyone, including gift cards. Merry Christmas from Room to Room Tupelo.
The bravest thing that my dad has done has been going back to school.
It wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
The bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.
This portion of Mississippi Live Weather is presented by Little's Jewelers.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Beautiful soggy night there in Oxford, Lafayette County, coming in with 36 degrees this evening, and the vast majority of those showers have cleared out of the region, leaving us with some mostly dry conditions overnight. Now, the rain chances aren't over, don't get me wrong, but the large batch of them are over, as we are getting a few sprinkles here and there on the backside of those showers, but yeah, nothing as significant as what we had earlier on today. You did see in Lafayette County 11 miles an hour, those winds out of the north. We saw that in Greenville as well, so wind's going to be a little bit more breezy on the backside of this, cycling in that northern air and cycling in those cold conditions. Smithville right now, a little bit of a different story, as you guys in Monroe County are in the heart of the showers. Notice I didn't say storms, just showers. We haven't heard a rumble of thunder all night long, and just a beautiful soggy evening. I always tell you guys, this is perfect sleeping weather. So if you're looking to go to bed early, hey, 6 o'clock, that's a good time. Get to bed early and get a fresh start to your Friday. I'm just kidding. Don't go to bed at 6. You don't need that much sleep. 39 degrees though. It's going to be a cold, soggy forecast. So at least stay indoors and watch a good movie or do something that just you can enjoy inside. 41 degrees in Starkville. We know what's happening down there in Stark Vegas. State championships happening tonight. Update on Calhoun City coming up here in just a moment, but 41 degrees right now, wind still about 7 miles an hour, and folks, busy on those roadways. As you see on Highway 12 going on to Blackjack, I can see that roadways are getting a little bit more heavy, more blocked, traffic accumulating a little bit more because of those state championships. And West Point, probably the bulk of those cars right now as they get down to Stark Vegas for their game happening at 7:30 tonight. Yes, correct me if I'm wrong, West Point fans, because I know there's a few of you guys. But I believe that's at 7:30 tonight. And again, our Will Kohlmeyer will have the latest on Friday's matchups coming up at 10, and we'll have hopefully those updates, hopefully with some champions coming up tonight at 10. So stay tuned here to Mississippi Live Weather as we give you some Mississippi Live sports. Where we sit on our Mississippi Live Weather radar as it's working through the northeast part of our area, we'll continue to give some showers towards Monroe County, Itawamba, Tishomingo, Lowndes, even down there towards Noxubee County. But the heaviest portions remain in Lamar, Marion, and even up there for parts of Franklin County, Alabama. Those continue to move off there towards the east, and that's where we'll expect the highest chances to remain. Now, no severe weather with this, no strong storms with this. This is just going to be a rainfall. No storms at all, really. I've not heard a rumble of thunder all day, and I don't expect it to be that. As you can see, this is what we call that stratiform precipitation working its way through the area, and that's basically a uniform distribution of some light to moderate showers. And you can see that on our severe threat with those greens popping up, meaning that it's just rainfall expected and not even that heavy of rainfall as a result. So as we look more at those storm tops, this will help you get a better idea. As you can see at the top of your screen, we're talking 20 to maybe even 30,000 feet, nowhere near what we typically see with storms where it's 40 to 50,000 feet. So that's what we're getting, uniform distribution across the board, working its way east, and that's what we expect to remain in place for northeast sections of Mississippi and northwest sections of Alabama. So not too bad of a Thursday night working our way into Friday. So high school games of the week, starting with Calhoun City, 1A, currently 14-8. I saw Simmons was marching in the red zone already, so they're looking to respond, and I don't know how the kicking situation goes in 1A. I don't think I've ever seen an extra point get kicked in 1A. So they might go for 2. They might just chance it and try to get 1 to get the lead. I do not know, but that game is in a heated matchup for sure, and Calhoun City, honestly, I think they're going to be grateful when this rainfall moves out. Still sitting at about 80% chances there for that point forecast in Starkville. Those showers working their way out of the area overnight, but even West Point dealing with a few of those drops as we get into the start of that game around 7:30. So rain gear, Green Wave fans, go ahead and grab it heading out the door as you go to cheer on your team to hopefully bring home title number 14. Calhoun City looking to bring home their title. I think it's the first one in a long time. I forgot what it was. I need to look back at that, but hopefully bringing home 2 state titles. Again, we will have those finals coming up at 10 o'clock tonight, along with our Friday previews with those matchups setting up once again with 4A and 6A. So Futurecast tonight, as you can already tell, 7 p.m., not exactly lining up with where radar sits right now. So basically move this entire batch of moisture about 4 counties this way. And I know that's going to be hard to do mentally because it's just, tough to keep that lined up all throughout the forecast. But what that means is it's about 50% chance of rainfall moving into those overnight hours. And by 10 o'clock, the vast majority of those showers already on the east section of Alabama. This wraparound moisture, the rest of this moisture that's trying to work its way back behind it, lagging a little bit behind that system, I think overdoing it where things will sit at 10 o'clock. Could see a little bit of that wintry precip further towards the north. I don't think it gets all the way here to North Mississippi. Again, temperatures are just too warm, but we could see or maybe hear a brief sleet pellet or an occasional flake, but I don't really have that happening unless you're in the far north sections of northwest Mississippi there in DeSoto County. 2 a.m. still trying to keep a little bit of those isolated showers in the forecast, but again, not overly sold on this as our models are really overdoing this forecast so far. So by 6 a.m. Friday, waking up, heading out the door, gloomy start, and we do expect those dry conditions to continue to be in place. Looking at rainfall totals, 7 p.m., you already get about 1/4 of an inch across the board, but as we get into those overnight hours, you can see that some of these start to build just a bit more, working its way to about a 1/2 inch of rainfall. We said yesterday this was not going to be an overly impactful forecast. This is one that's going to give us a light rainfall all day long with those rain chances lingering all day, but not going to be something you look back at and see 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. Not one of those setups. It's just a very light to moderate rainfall. So low temperatures on Friday, being that we do still have a bit of moisture out there along the state line, going to be 38 Columbus, 36 Vernon, and 39 around Aliceville. Let's go ahead and work our way west, and that's where we're already getting some clearing. Those northerly winds cycling in those cooler temperatures. We're seeing 29 Tunica, same thing South Haven and Senatobia, Holly Springs, Marshall County, 29 degrees, and then 31 Water Valley and Oxford, even 32 in Bruce there in Calhoun County. Wind chill, not going to count for too much. So yes, it's breezy tonight, but not going to drop those temperatures too much tomorrow morning. So feels like values still going to be right around freezing for our folks out west, and then of course out east right above that freezing threshold with that moisture still in place. Let's carry Futurecast out throughout your Friday, and as you can see, those gloomy conditions remain the theme of the day. So have those layers ready to stay warm, but I think we're good to not have those layers to stay dry because chances of rainfall few and far between, maybe a chance at a few pop-up showers by the afternoon, but those very light, and a lot of these going to be elevated as well with that drier pattern moving in. So while a few greens, not an impossibility to show up, I'm not overly sold on that being impactful rainfall nor widespread rainfall. So I think we stay good on that front, and we'll stay mostly dry throughout our afternoon for any of those parades taking place. If you are north of Highway 82, I like our chances to stay dry throughout basically the entire day, and that includes Tupelo with the Tupelo Christmas Parade. We do have other parades that were canceled tonight and postponed to other dates, and one of those actually got rescheduled to Friday. That's for our folks in Ackerman there in Choctaw County. So folks out there, rescheduled to Friday at 6 o'clock, so make sure to go out there then. Hopefully you're not there right now. It's probably a disappointing sight with that soggy forecast for sure. Fulton being moved to Tuesday. Baldwin being moved to Tuesday as well. Macon rescheduled to Tuesday at 6. And then Verona rescheduled to a week from today on December 11th. So there's the rundown for our parades tonight. Unfortunately, not happening. But I believe someone said that Manti was happening. Let me make sure on that. I think it was Pam. Yes, got a parade in Manti tonight at 7. So remains to be seen if that will continue to be in place, but we will keep an eye on that for sure. And of course, if you have any pictures from those parades, send it to us. We love showcasing that here on Mississippi Live Weather. High temperatures for your Friday, being that we do still have that moisture in place and that cloud cover blocking our sunshine, that warmth does not return. We're still going to see cold temperatures by the afternoon with 45 Senatobia, Oxford, same thing around Booneville, 47 Tupelo, 49 Houston, and 48 towards the Golden Triangle for any of those matchups happening on our Friday there in Starkville. So high school games of the week, again, they continue into our Friday with Kosciuszko and Warren Central representing the north half of the area. The Whippets hoping to bring home that title. 45 degrees with cloudy skies. Better forecast tomorrow than what we're getting tonight in Starkville, but still cloudy nonetheless and still cold. So make sure to bundle up for any of those games. Hopefully bringing home that 4A state title, of course, and 6A state title. We'll root for Warren Central representing north half. Hopefully we bring home both, and that's going to be 40 degrees during that celebration. So it's going to be a good one for sure. And at least dry, and that's what matters. So sticking with that Futurecast tonight, staying dry once again, but that cloud cover working its way gradually out of the region. Wouldn't be surprised to see a few drops of rainfall either there in Pickens County by 10. But as we get into the start of our Saturday, you can see the clearing that takes place, allowing for a little bit of that cooling forecast to move in place as well. So some cooler temperatures once again. But as we get into our Saturday, you're going to see some greens pop up. Not sold on that forecast because it is still going to be a pretty dry pattern over the top of us. Sprinkle here, sprinkle there. That's the most that we're going to be receiving. 9 a.m. on Saturday, continue to see those showers work their way out of the region. And we're going to see clouds off and on, but sunshine will be back in our skies, warming us up nicely and giving us those beautiful dry and blue skies that we love here in North Mississippi. So yeah, partly cloudy skies off and on, but again, that sunshine will return and warm us up towards the afternoon. Now working our way overnight, you can see a few sprinkles possible once again. This is a warm front lifts into the region, and that will allow for some showers as well by Sunday. And that's where you kind of need to keep that rain gear around. It's going to be hit or miss, more miss than hit, but it is still going to be in the forecast nonetheless, and we want you guys to stay dry. Sunday, the better day of the two that will see that rainfall. High temperatures for Saturday, low to mid 50s across the region, so it shows you the difference that sunshine can make, warming us up a little bit more and allowing for those temperatures to climb a little bit warmer than they will on our Friday. Noxubee County playing at noon on Saturday, 20% chance of rainfall. Again, those limited chances that'll be in the forecast don't have it impacting too many of us. Could end up in Starkville, but again, it remains to be seen where those isolated showers will choose to be on our Saturday. East Webster, 51 degrees. That's going to be happening at 3:30. And again, chance of rainfall still possible, but Tupelo, the 7A matchup happening at 7 o'clock on your Saturday. As you can see, fans behind me very happy about that, and they'll be repping that in full force and excited to see the results that come on Saturday, hopefully bringing back-to-back titles back here to Lee County. This weekend, not just for football, looking like a good forecast with 52 degrees Saturday, 56 by Sunday, and slightly warmer afternoons. That's really the big headline heading into this weekend. Limited to basically no rain chances across North Mississippi, as those chances remain very, very isolated, impacting just a few of us throughout those weekend plans. So your 7-day forecast, starting with your Friday, going to be cold once again and gloomy. 35 degrees by 7, 45 by noon, 47 towards our afternoon on Friday. And as we head through the next several days, that gradual warming trend through the weekend will continue to build. 56 there for Sunday, 20% chance of showers still in the forecast, but those clouds going to recede by Saturday, climb back by Sunday, and then recede once again into the start of next week with dry conditions and more sunshine back in the forecast, but those temperatures are going to be something that stays cool and stays cold, especially as we get towards Tuesday. 27 degrees for the start of the day, 52 by the afternoon, jumping to 59 degrees by Wednesday. Finally, nice to see a temperature that's above our normal high, but nonetheless not above it by much. Still going to be cold enough to have a few layers. We'll want you guys to stay prepared and, of course, stay warm. But we are still dealing with that rainfall here in North Mississippi. We're continuing to break down what precipitation we're expecting to see and why we expect to see that coming up here on Mississippi Live Weather in the next 60.
We come from a long line of farmers, and there's a sense of pride, but there's also a significant amount of pressure.
Farmers have to take care of their physical and their mental health, because what's a farm without a farmer?
Watching the sun come up, that's my time. I can have a cup of coffee, and every day is a new opportunity.
That's cool.
Your hand's gotten so Yay!
Don't forget to check in on yourself. Love your mind.
By the time you see the symptoms of lung cancer, it could be too late. Now there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early. If you smoked, get scanned.
Hate is loud, but love is the majority.
It's Mississippi Live Weather at 6, which means our Merry and Bright Christmas light promo is in full force. We have a few spectacular displays to show you tonight. One of those being in Tupelo from Rachel, and one of the things that I admire about this is because the Maynard household just strung lights around our roof. This is just impressive. Keeping that tight strand around those roofs and right around the roofs, I don't know how you say that, the plural of roof, and especially around the garage door as well. That is just very impressive. Love the illuminated lights right there. And of course, got to have the snowman. And of course, the Christmas tree cakes. Yeah, have you bought them this year? I have. I probably bought about 3 boxes so far because that is one of my favorite snacks, only happening during the holiday season, and that's when I definitely splurge on some of those Christmas tree cakes. So appreciate Rachel and Tupelo for submitting that picture. We also have a beautiful display from April. As you can see, the manger scene right there lit up, and of course, you have to have the North Star as well. A beautiful display, one that definitely is the reason for the season. So grateful for Jesus, and of course, grateful for April for submitting that picture as well. Our weather watchers showing out. It is a pretty calm forecast with a few rainy conditions here and there, but with that calm forecast still comes those pictures. So go ahead and submit yours at Mississippi Live Weather using it through the app or through our Facebook page there with Matt Lopon on Facebook. Search them up and you can submit your pictures and your displays. Just put the location so that way we can go see this for ourselves and marvel at it. A beautiful forecast. And I had to throw in a honorable mention, and that is going to be old Frosty the Snowman showcasing what it was like in the forecast in Union County. Karen submitting this picture. Frosty with the umbrella because, yes, it was rain falling. We don't want Frosty to melt. It wasn't snow falling, so he couldn't be frolicking about in the snow. No, this is a very wet, soggy, and unfortunately not wintry precip forecast for Union County, and that goes to be for the case for all of North Mississippi. So thank you, Karen, for submitting that picture. Not Christmas lights, but love the decoration still and adding to it with that umbrella. All right, so why does rain happen and not snowfall? Well, it really depends on the temperatures, and that's where we're going to break this down here a little bit in detail. As you can see behind me, we have the 4 different types of precipitation: rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. And I was testing my wife on this earlier, and she did a wonderful job. I should have had her come in and explain this a little bit more in detail. But we were talking about, why does snow not happen? Well, if you look at what's happening aloft in the atmosphere, it's not an impossibility that we get some of that wintry precip to form. It's colder up there. But immediately, especially here in North Mississippi, it enters this warm layer. And that warm layer, that's above 32 degrees. So that warm layer, it's not really defined by too high of a temperature. That automatically melts that snowfall and turns it into rainfall once it reaches the surface. It's going to be warmer than 32 degrees throughout the entire atmosphere. Now, freezing rain is a whole different type of precipitation that forms whenever it's snow aloft, melts in that warm layer, as you can see, expanding a little bit more of our atmosphere than sleet or snow, and that's going to melt it completely into those raindrops. And once the rain hits the surface, the surface is at freezing, and that allows for that rain to cool off and freeze right at the surface, and that's where we get some freezing rain to take place. Now, those sleet pellets we often mention means that there's an area in the atmosphere that's a little bit colder for an extended period of time. So it allows all of those snowflakes that have melted to refreeze before it reaches the ground, and that's where we get more of those sleet pellets that develop rather than it being freezing rain on the surface. Snowfall. You notice no warm layer in that entire thing, so the moment that we have that temperature above 32 degrees, that's where that melting takes place, and that's where that precipitation automatically shifts from that beautiful snowfall to more of that hazardous sleet, freezing rain, or even those slick rain conditions. But to explain this in more detail, it kind of walks you through step by step right here. So as you get a look right here, this is precip type for rain. That freezing layer well above in the atmosphere, right below that cloud deck. That allows for snowflakes to form, and of course snowflakes needed with the dendritic growth zone that we talked about yesterday. But as soon as it reaches that warmer layer, that snow melts, and then it becomes rain all the way down to the surface. And looking at that in more detail, we can talk about freezing rain. Freezing rain has a very large melting layer that continues to expand across the entire atmosphere, but the moment it reaches the surface, we get those icy conditions because the surface sits below freezing, and that requires the surface to be below freezing as well. So oftentimes our roads are too warm. It takes a little bit to cool those off. Rain does a little bit of that cooling off process, but when sleet falls, or when snow falls, it cools off that ground as well. So oftentimes if we get a heavy enough snow, it could be 33 degrees or so, and we start to get a little bit of that to accumulate because on the surface, it cools it off enough for it to start to stick. Not happening right now. Our roads are way too warm. But freezing rain, that's the second type of precipitation. I don't know what I just said. Sleet has a smaller melting layer as it moves through the atmosphere, so that allows it to refreeze before reaching the surface, and that's where we get those pellets to form. And you can see it building. Have you ever seen hailstones when a significant hailstorm fall on the ground? Similar look to what we get with sleet as well. It almost looks like snow, but it's just those ice particles that are on the ground that start to accumulate, and enough ice makes it look like a snowy ground, but it's not exactly the snowy forecast. We had it last February, I believe, and that was more of a sleet forecast than a snow forecast. But last year we did get a snow forecast as well, and of course that requires freezing all the way through the atmosphere. So if we had something similar to what we had today set up, where temperatures were below freezing through the entire atmosphere, then we'd be looking at a decent snow event. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, that was not the case, and we only got rain. So snow, of course, needs that freezing layer on the ground to allow it to stick, because otherwise it could go through the entire atmosphere, and if the ground's even 33 degrees and everywhere else is 32, it's going to melt until we get enough of that snow to cool off the ground, and then we get those freezing temperatures to allow for that cooling process to take place and snow to stick on the ground. But as you can tell, this was not the forecast today. Not an impossibility throughout our entire winter season, but there's still a long way to go. But I wanted to talk about that because I've seen a lot of folks asking, Gabe, it is cold enough. Why are we only seeing rain? That's why. Because it all matters in the upper atmosphere, and that magic number of 32 degrees is the big driver in that forecast. So day planner tonight, yes, still scattered chances of rainfall continuing into that 8 o'clock hour, 10 o'clock, as well as midnight. But temperature-wise, it's still cold, but not cold enough. Again, that cold enough is what we've often talked about tonight. So we're not expecting any snowfall, not expecting any sleet, not expecting any freezing rain. This is just going to be a cold rain all the way through. All right, I want to, give me a second. I'm going to take a step off screen here real quick. I'm going to go look at the score for you guys and see where we sit with Simmons and Calhoun City and get an update. We are currently, I believe that's a minute 30 left with 14 Calhoun City and Simmons with 8. So pretty good matchup. A minute 30, close out the game, and I think Calhoun City has the ball too. So wrap up that game, and maybe we bring home our first state title here to the north half. Remains to be seen. We got to close this out, but 6-point lead entering a minute and a half left. Let's finish this drive, Wildcats, and let's get a title back here to North Mississippi. I do want to say, for any of our Calhoun City fans that may be watching, we are looking for some of that celebration video if everything goes as planned for the last minute and a half. So if you can send that to us, info@msliveweather.com. We would love to get that in the show at 10 to showcase all of the celebratory victories that we've gotten here in North Mississippi. And same thing goes for West Point. We want that at 10 o'clock to kind of feature that to what happened during the day, and then we can showcase those scores as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I hope that you guys have a fantastic evening. I appreciate everyone for joining us at the 6 o'clock hour, and we will see you back here coming up tonight at 10. Go ahead and download that app if you haven't done so already to submit your beautiful Merry and Bright Christmas lights, or to submit that celebratory video for either Calhoun City or West Point or any of the schools over the following days. We want to showcase all of that here on Mississippi Live Weather. Go ahead and tune in at 10 o'clock tonight for, again, those celebrations, as well as the latest on those previews for your Friday matchups. Our Will Kohlmeyer will have the latest on that forecast. I guess it's a forecast for football, and we'll walk through what conditions they can expect on the field when it comes to the weather. We'll have all those latest details coming up, Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Until then, have a terrific Thursday.
Can I ask a few questions?
Yeah, sure.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog, but she's little.
Do you have any unlocked guns around the house?
We do have a gun, but it's stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access. Appreciate you asking.
Yeah, of course.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.